What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to share 4 moodboard examples and how exactly I went about creating them. So use this video to get inspiration ideas and layout ideas for moodboards in your fashion design projects. So let's get started. So I always create my moodboards on Adobe Illustrator. But before we begin, let's quickly run through the basics. What is a moodboard? In very simple terms, it's a collection of pictures that best describe what your apparel range is gonna be about. First and foremost, it shows your inspiration, and secondly, it directs your viewers by showing them the key elements that they can expect to see in your range in terms of fabrics, colors, graphics, silhouettes, etc. Now, what exactly are these key elements that a moodboard needs? It is recommended that you show as many pictures of the following elements as you can: inspiration or mood images, fabrics, colors, shapes or silhouettes, graphics, print techniques, typography, fonts, trims, and any other key styling details that can help convey your future range's direction to the viewer. So this is your moodboard checklist. Now, where do you go to find these pictures? Take a screenshot of this list of websites so that you can use them later to find some awesome pictures. So with that said, let's get to the first moodboard example. And this one is called Antithesis. Now, Antithesis is an autumn-winter moodboard for both menswear and womenswear, and it looks at the apparel category of streetwear. The word antithesis means a contrast between two things, and this board was inspired by two opposing states of mind: the state of an existential crisis and the state of purpose found. An existential crisis is not knowing where you are and what this life means, and the opposite of this is finding your calling and knowing what you were born to do. As humans, we tend to oscillate between both, and that state of contrast is the inspiration for this range. I'm now going to wipe the slate completely clean and show you how I put these images together from the start. I'm also going to put up my checklist here so that I can tick off the sections as and when I cover them. So I started my board by adding a definition of the word antithesis so that the viewer has better clarity on my theme and the two opposing states that I am talking about. It is recommended to add a definition or even a concept note when your inspiration is a feeling or a state of mind or something intangible, just so that the viewer understands it better. And then after quite a bit of research, I finally chose these pictures to be in my board. But what is special about these pictures? Let me start by running through their graphics. All the graphics seen on these clothes are heavy, convoluted imagery of people. Figures drawn with contour lines depicting that hollow, in limbo state of mind. Pictures of people, except their faces are superimposed with half of someone else's face, showing a duality. Or faces slapped upon with a piece of tape, showing an urge to ask questions but you know you won't find answers. The odd print placement of these graphics is also key. Some are printed in unique spots and some are split between two sections, etc. So through these graphics, the viewer can also see that print techniques like 𝐀𝐝𝐝𝐿 print and digital prints will be used in my range. Now regarding silhouettes. First of all, we can see season-oriented features. So because this is an autumn-winter collection, we have autumn-winter features like longer sleeves, higher necks, hoods, etc. And second, we have theme-oriented features. For example, the sleeve slits, the raw edges, the distressed denim, all of these are unusual and express rebellion. The modular styling seen here, where the zipper opens up to reveal text underneath, and the hem of this top shaped the way it is, making it look like armor, are also details that will make the range look like a battle that is being fought between two opposing sides. So guys, these 8 images so far can be called my main images. To make the board a bit better looking, I'm going to clip mask these two and give them a white outline before we move to the color palette. Now the palette I'm going to pick from these existing pictures itself, and as you can tell, the palette is very obvious. What better than black and white as the main colors to show contrasts and oppositions? To further complete the palette, I'm also going to add grey to balance out the black and the white, followed by 2 more colors, orange and yellow. But why orange and yellow? Because not only are the colors representing an existential crisis through black, white and grey, but it also should represent the state of purpose found, and oranges and yellows depict warmth and passion and the fire of finding purpose again. So I'm going to get creative and show my color palette like this, instead of the regular square boxes, because here the darker powders look like ash, like the remains of something burnt, while the lighter colors look like happy festival colors, again showing the contrast in our theme. I'm also going to add my Pantone numbers onto them. Next, regarding typography and fonts, on one side, the text will say phrases like, I think we are doomed and what happens now? And on the other side, it will say, win at life and it ain't so bad. The font will be minimal but gets creative through repetition and a melting effect like you can see here. Now for fabrics. It is highly recommended that you take pictures of physical swatches that you collected and add those to your board. But if you don't have physical swatches, then try to at least add pictures of them from the internet so that the viewer understands your fabric direction. I'm adding my swatches like this. We have heavyweight fabrics since it is autumn-winter. We also have knitted fabrics, cotton jerseys, terries, and denims. For some added creativity, I have added lines that look like stitch lines around some of the swatches, and I've added raw edges to another. And as you can see, I've also given them an uneven corner angle. So guys, at this point, we have covered most of the elements on the mood board checklist. I do not have any key trims that I want to call out, so that is the one element that I am leaving out. And regarding mood images, I'm going to now start to substantiate this board with the same. Like this, the corners of my board now look like they have been burnt. I'm also going to make this photo look like it has been torn at the edges. Add a tear to this one too. Let's add some pieces of paper that have been burnt or torn at the very back. Some grungy spots of black, more contour lines, a few graphic elements that look wary and hesitant. This one is placed upside down to look like the confused reflection of this man in the hoodie. I'm going to add a ramble of random alphabets, some duct tape, a splash of yellow, and finally I'm writing out the main theme, the season, and the gender. And with that, guys, my first mood board example is done. So I hope you guys have got a better idea of how I went about translating my theme to images. So let's move to my second mood board example and I will go a bit faster, alright? Mood board number 2 is called What Happened in Costa Rica. Now this board was created for a fun girls wear spring summer range and the apparel category is resort wear. So if you need mood board ideas for a theme related to travel or adventure or photography, be it menswear, women's wear or anyone, then the tips I give you for creating this mood board will be super useful for you as well. So my mood board is created from the perspective of a girl who went on a trip to Costa Rica, and inspiration is taken from all the beautiful things that she saw when she traveled there, with a special focus on tropical plants and animals. The mood board is actually in the form of a scrapbook entry, where after her trip, the girl has come home, pulled out her scrapbook and jotted down all the adventures that she had by sticking Polaroid photos, duct taping clippings, trinkets and all sorts of ephemera. So let's wipe the board clean and break down the steps of creating it. For the scrapbook idea, I started by adding checkered squares, imitating a page in a scrapbook. Along with the words, Dear Diary, here is what happened in Costa Rica. Since my theme is not a feeling this time, but a tangible physical place, I decided to start by adding pictures directly related to my theme. So pictures of Costa Rica and any key fauna that we can take inspiration from, as well as a map of the places visited. I also added photos and Polaroids mimicking photos taken by the little girl, along with rough handwriting labeling these pictures. I then came across this very pretty sketch, so I'm adding that as well. And I'm going to close with adding pictures of clothes itself that I am taking inspiration from. My main pictures are now done. Now let's look at why I selected these, beginning with graphics. All the graphics seen here point to the flora and fauna of Costa Rica. We have actual photographs referring the animals to take inspiration from, as well as cartoonized pictures referring the type of artwork and drawing techniques that you can expect to see in the range. And for print techniques, we have the more common CMYK and pigment prints, but additionally, we are looking at interactive 3D techniques like this, as well as embroidery, laser cut chiffon techniques, and stuffed applique. Regarding typography, phrases like nothing can stop me from adventure or I feel like an explorer will be used in fonts that are scribbly and whimsical. For the color palette, we can see from what we have that the palette is bright and fresh with lots of greens and blues, but also some very summery oranges and yellows. So picking out the colors from these pictures, I put together a palette and Pantones in the form of a bookmark which I drew. Because of course this is a scrapbook and the more stationery you add, the more realistic it feels. Regarding silhouettes, these pictures were selected because first of all, they are spring-summer silhouettes with shorter sleeves, shorter hemlines, etc. And secondly, because they are easy breezy and tailored for adventure with functional elements like pockets and pleats and plenty of space for movement and exploring. Now, most of our mood board checklist has been covered. I'm going to leave out trims again, but a key element, fabric, has not been shown here, and that is because this was made for a client who had already decided the fabrics that they wanted to work with. So finally, like before, I'm going to end the mood board by adding a few more mood images. Start by adding some stationery like paper clips and duct tape. To enhance the whole travel and adventure theme, I'm adding a postcard, a postal stamp, a ticket to a forest reserve in Costa Rica, a stamping stamp, and finally, to enhance the graphic inspiration, a bunch of green tropical leaves. And with that, guys, mood board number 2 is done. So let's go to our third board, which is called pseudonym. Now, this is a loud, high fashion board for women's wear for autumn-winter. The apparel category here is athleisure and street. Now, pseudonym basically means a fictitious name, and it refers to the pseudonym that you take on when you enter an arcade and play a game. So this board is inspired by the gaming arcade, the digital worlds that you enter, and the people that you change into once you are inside these worlds. Let's wipe the board clean and start from the beginning. I once again started by adding pictures directly related to my theme. So I found this stunning picture of a gaming arcade, and then a picture of a digital arena, and then a digital avatar. Now these 3 pictures already are cohesive and have a similar vibe, so it gave me a good idea on what the rest of the pictures will look like. So for clothing, these are the pictures that I selected. Let's run through why I chose them, beginning with graphics. So I found that these clothes best represented the digital world with artworks that look like neon laser lights and cyberpunk sporty elements, total geometric chaos of patterns. We have technicolor details and iridescent prints. We have shiny glow-in-the-dark features and so on. These garments really look like they came straight out of a game. For typography, I'm going to go with sporty alphanumerics, and fonts here are going to be bold. For silhouettes, like always, we are first and foremost going with autumn-winter suited shapes of longer sleeves, higher necks, etc. And second, we are going with athleisure or sporty tight tees. We have mesh tops, we have tops with cutouts, baggy joggers, oversized bombers, leggings, etc. Now this board specifically also points out print techniques that will be used in the range, as you can see through these close-up pictures of textured HD foil print and this iridescent print, apart from the usual CMYK print, digital print, etc. For the colors, I'm putting down the color palette through this no signal board, which is occasionally a sight you see when digital screens stop working, and my Pantones are listed on it. And right above this, I'm placing my pictures of my fabrics, which are meshes and tissues, jerseys and brush terries, and these are in polyester, spandex, and cotton blends mostly. This board also points out to the specific trims that I will use in my range, and they are the iridescent zipper and the pearlescent buttons. Finally, to finish off this board, at the very center this time, I'm writing my theme name along with the definition of it, the season and category. So with that, we have completed the mood board checklist for this board as well. And that's it for the third mood board. Let's now move to the fourth mood board, and it's called the Artist's Lair. Now this is a fun, positive, invigorating mood board. It's for a spring-summer women's wear range, and it looks at the category of resort wear. Now the theme, the Artist's Lair, refers to a place or a room or a studio open to anyone who just wants to paint and draw and therapize themselves. This is a place where you come as you are, you open yourself to art, draw whatever your heart tells you to, and in the process find release and freedom from anything that weighs you down. This fictional place and the art created in it is the inspiration for my range. Let's wipe the slate clean and I will explain how I got here. I first started by looking for pictures directly related to my theme, and I came across this adorable picture of a woman having fun, splashing paint around in a place that could look like this room, the Artist's Lair. I then found pictures of art in progress, whether it's drawn on a canvas or drawn on a body. With these 3 pictures setting the mood, I then decided to add pictures of clothing. So let's run through why I chose these pictures, starting with colors. Since we are taking inspiration from the artist and her art, I want my garments to all be in white base fabrics, and on them I want colorful artworks to be printed, just like a white paper has artwork drawn on it. I'm going to clarify the color palette by picking out colors from these pictures and adding puddles of paint on the side here, and then adding my Pantone numbers on them. Further, regarding artworks specifically, if you look closely, guys, you will see that all the artworks seen on these pictures are roughly drawn and simple, done by an amateur, someone new to painting, with all the texture and mistakes and wayward strokes of a paintbrush. They really look like they are drawn by someone who came into the lair to therapize themselves. Now, assuming that amateurs will choose easy items to draw, I have chosen simple but summary items as the key graphic element, such as plants and fruits. And to emphasize this graphic direction some more, I'm also adding painted graphic elements like this. Through these pictures, I'm also showing that my range will have print techniques like pigment print and discharge print. For shapes and silhouettes, I mainly looked for shapes suited to spring-summer. So we have looser, baggy, lightweight outers and inner bandeaus and bras. We also have summer dresses with elements like front openings, side cutouts, puff sleeves, etc. Now, typography, on the other hand, is sparse and fonts are very minimal, as you can see in just these areas. But when it does occur, it will say things like we are open to new philosophies, to vulnerabilities, to you being you, to freeing yourself, etc. The we are open sign looks like signage that is hung outside a shop or a studio. In this case, it is hung outside the artist's lair. For fabrics, we are looking at lightweight cottons, linens, chambrays, and cotton elastane blends. In that way, again, we have covered most of the mood board checklist. I'm going to leave out trims again. And like always, I'm going to fill in the rest of the mood board with mood images to make it more cohesive. Let's start with adding lines of rough paint here, then paint brushes here, a splatter of paint at the background, and up here, one circular badge showing my mood board's theme, which kind of looks like the logo of the lair. Also add the season and category. And with that, guys, all 4 mood boards are done. So I hope that you guys were able to get layout ideas as well as inspiration ideas from these boards. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next week.